Okay, Chris and Anissa, this will be lesson number 2 in the series. First of all, I want to show you one picking technique that is used in many, many songs, and it gives you a lot of versatility. And basically, what you're going to be doing, and I'm concentrating on the right hand right now. These three fingers, excluding the pinky, these 3 fingers, you want to imagine them being glued together. And then what you do is you put the number 3 finger on the first string, the number 2 finger on the second string, and the pointer number, I guess this would be number 1, so it'd be 3, 2, 1, the number 1 on the third string. And again, the fingers should stay together. Don't release them. Keep them together. And they rest on those 3 strings. And you notice they're not like that. They're kind of at an angle because your hand's kind of like at an angle, like almost like a 45-degree angle. And what you want, you can rest your thumb on the guitar for now, just for convenience. And it may make your hand a little more stable so it doesn't move around. And what you want to do is just pick up the 3 fingers together, and you're picking up all 3 strings at the same time, just like that. And you notice I'm not moving my wrist. I'm not going like that. I'm not going way up high. I'm just, you can stay real close to the strings. Your fingers only go up maybe at the most a half an inch or a quarter of an inch. And what you want to practice doing is picking them up and putting them back down, like that. So you pick it up, and when you put them back down, of course, it stops the sound. And it may seem kind of a strange thing to be doing, but a lot of songs actually use this technique. And if I just start as an example. I'm not used to this guitar. This is Alessandro's guitar. Now what I'm doing, of course, I'm putting bass in. But at the bottom, I'm just going like that. But if I put the bass in, I'm just alternating the bass. I'm starting with the 5th string and then the 6th string. So the first thing you want to concentrate is on just getting these fingers stuck together on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string, and get used to, putting them, plucking and putting the fingers back down, just like that. Yeah, it's the best angle I can give you. And then once you've got this down pretty good, where you can do that without even thinking about it, then you can start thinking about maybe using your thumb and alternating. You go, and you can just use the same string if you want. And basically what you're doing is with the thumb you're putting in a bass note. Then if you get more comfortable, you can alternate basses. Once you get used to this technique, there's so many things you can do, as you can see. There's all kinds of things you can do by resting those 3 fingers on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings of the guitar. Now, in the first session, I showed you the E minor chord. I'd like to show you another chord to start learning. Let me move the camera around. And let me lift it up a little bit. Hang on a second. This is, you learned the E minor chord where you're using your 2nd and 3rd fingers and you're putting them on the 5th and 4th strings, 2nd fret. Let me see if I can get a better angle. It's just hard to, when I'm doing it by myself. It's really hard to get an angle where there. Maybe that's a little better. That's an A minor. Now the A minor is another chord I'd like you to try to start learning, and that is formed by putting your number 1 finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and then the number 2 finger you put on the 3rd fret, 4th string, and then finally the number 3 finger you put on the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. Make sure, yeah, 3rd string. And so that's what it looks like. And it should sound something like this. It's another minor chord. It's an A minor. So if I use that plucking technique I was telling you about, I went to E minor. So bottom line, work on the A minor chord, continue practicing the E minor chord. And another thing, when you're first learning chords, there's a tendency to what I call walking into the chord, which means as you're trying to form it, you tend to put one finger down and then the next finger down, one at a time. Because that's the way you typically, try to, when you're learning something new, you do it one thing at a time. But once you understand where those fingers go, you have to start practicing putting all the fingers down at the same time. In other words, don't walk it, put them all at the same time. Because certain songs, you won't have time to be doing the walk-ons. Same thing with A minor. You won't have time to be doing it, one then the others. You have to put them all down at the same time. And that just takes practice. That just takes practice. But it's something to keep in mind when you're learning new chords and stuff. Now, what I'm teaching you right here are, some very basic stuff, but don't be afraid to go on YouTube. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube as far as the musical scale and chords and stuff. And so don't be hesitant to go to YouTube and just do a search. Do a search for, guitar tutorial, beginners or basic and stuff, because that will also help you too. And in fact, it may generate questions for you to ask me based on what you see on YouTube. Okay? That'll be it for now. Thanks.